Spencer Dinwiddie and Davis Bertans bring value to the Mavericks. They can actually play, right? These two guys can probably be part of a rotation. Davis Bertans maybe is on the fringes, but it depends on the Mavs big man rotation. Both of these guys can bring something to the Mavs.
Oh, 100%. I mean, let's do this. Let's look at Sunday. They played the Hawks a few days ago. This was their starting unit. Luka, JB, Dwight Powell, Dorian, and Reggie Bullock. These guys played against Philly. They beat a really good Philly team. These guys played against the Hawks. They beat the Hawks. Now, you take that. We had a lot of fun with those two games. I mean, a lot of Mavs fans had a lot of fun with those two games. Now, you look at the bench for that five. Marquise Chris, Josh Green, Trey Burke, Frank Ntilikina. Now, let's add Spencer Dinwiddie to that and Davis Bertans to that. Like, that's my thing. It's like now they have a legit guy who could come off the bench and get buckets. I don't think Dinwiddie steps in and starts over Jalen Brunson. I don't think that. But you're telling me that now we can add Spencer Dinwiddie to come off the bench with, Maxey didn't play in that game, but now you have Maxey, Spencer Dinwiddie. Like, what is Bertans? If Maxey's out for, if you want to manage some of his minutes, like the whole Bertans thing with the shooting thing. We talked about Reggie Bullock for how long at the beginning of the season? Oh my gosh, 40% 3-point shooter. Can he just not shoot anymore? Like, you can't. Are you going to be shocked if Davis Bertans ends the season shooting like 35-36% from three, and he shoots from this point, he shoots like 40% from three the rest of the season? I wouldn't be shocked if that happens. I'm not saying it will, but I wouldn't be shocked.
No, absolutely not. Even just a change of scenery can change it for these guys. Remember some of the guys the Mavs have brought in over the last couple of years. Doug McDermott, remember, he shot like 50% from three to end the season after he got traded. So, I mean, that's what the Mavericks are looking at. And they upgrade in two areas we've been desperately pleading for them to upgrade in. 3-point shooting with Davis Bertans. You bring in a guy that can space the floor out deep, like real deep. He can hit the threes that Porzingis tries a lot. He can hit those threes, and he has the last couple of years. And playmaking, another ball handler, another playmaker. They needed a guy like that for games when Luka and Jalen Brunson are both in foul trouble, or one of them has to miss the game, right? All of a sudden now they have another option. It's not the greatest option, right? It's not the Zach LaVine perfect option next to Luka, but it is Spencer Dinwiddie as a guy that was, a fringe all-star 2 years ago that, has shown a lot of potential in this league. And maybe Jason Kidd as the point guard whisperer can do a better job than what, Wes Unseld Jr. could have done in Washington.
And it gives you just a tiny glimpse of, I was with a group of people, and after the trade went down, we were walking, and the guy I was talking to said, "Is this Jalen Brunson insurance?" And it gives you a tiny glimpse of tiny bit of insurance of, let's say Spencer Dinwiddie finishes the season really strong, and it's like, oh, awesome. Like, he's back to looking like, Dinwiddie that Washington thought they were getting. And then you go in the offseason, and let's just say, the Knicks or whoever it is just blow Brunson's brains out with a contract offer. And for some reason he left. We don't want him to leave, but if for some reason he left, then you at least still have somebody on the roster that could get buckets from the guard position alongside Luka. So I think this is, I'm smiling. That's my whole thing. I'm walking out of this day. I'm smiling. I'm like, they did it. Like, I was afraid that the Porzingis, especially after another injury, he's still not playing right now. Okay. So because of injury, and it's like, especially after another thing, it's like, you're almost fatigued. I think a lot of fans, I'd reached a point to where I was just fatigued by it. It's like, how long do we have to do this of the in and out and all of that? And now that's over, and we can see how it works out with Dinwiddie and Bertans.
Now, Dinwiddie and Bertans have had their own injury concerns. I'm not trying to say that these guys are the perfect role players to come in and just solve all the problems, right? But they do solve a little bit, right? And then there's all the contract stuff we said in the second segment. So these guys do bring something to the Dallas Mavericks, and I think that it's going to be better to have multiple players and multiple options instead of, all right, we're just waiting on Porzingis to come back. Okay, let's just hold on for Porzingis to come back. And then hopefully this offseason, the Mavs can take that huge step forward that they really want to when they have their picks available. They have multiples in these contracts. They have more guys they can trade out. And hopefully maybe they even revitalize some of the value in Dinwiddie and Bertans. They can trade them again in the offseason. But the move that just got reported by Tim McMahon is Dorian Finney-Smith getting an extension. Now he finally gets an extension, 4 years, $52 million, reported by multiple sources. Shams, Tim McMahon, Mark Stein. I mean, the Mavs just they sent out the bat signal for this deal. This is big for the Mavericks, right? They needed to do this. They needed to get this done. And he's not completely insanely overpaid either. No. This is a pretty good deal for the Mavericks, and I hope that Dorian Finney-Smith hopes it's a good deal for himself, because he is so vital to the Mavericks. Like, if he's out, especially now with Porzingis out, the Mavericks big man and fours and fives is pretty shallow of high-end talent, and Dorian Finney-Smith answers that question at the 4. And the Mavericks have been really good when he plays this year.
Yeah, I'm super happy for him. I'm happy for the Mavs because it's a good deal. I'm happy for him personally because, I mean, remember, this guy went undrafted, right? I mean, now he gets a 4-year deal, $52 million. Like, from undrafted,
that's pretty amazing.
Undrafted guys get
from some of the stories you and I have heard about him and growing up and the things he saw, and it was tough for him. Yeah. It was tough for him to get to the NBA and to get to the spot that he was, to be undrafted, like he said, to be fighting for time for Justin Anderson. Like, let's just take a second and appreciate that this guy is making $50 million, and that's life-changing money for his family.
Yeah. So another part of the deal is, they're going to release Moses Brown, and that they just recalled him back up. So I'm sorry for the Moses Hive out there.
We have to RIP this sound.
This is a positive world. We'll take the positive. He was +2.
He was +2 was about Moses Brown.
Shout out to his media day interview where he said he would take a first date to Papados.
And also in his introductory press conference when he said that the film that he watches was of Kevin Durant.
Yeah.
And Dirk.
No, he's a lot of fun. I hope he latches on somewhere, but I don't think the roster's done either. I think you're looking at a prime buyout team. I think they are in need of a big body.
Huge need.
However, whoever gets bought out, Robin Lopez, Tristan Thompson, who are some of these bigs out there that I'm just saying, some big body guys that you could add for free, basically. I am really curious on what happens with Dragic at this point. Because now you obviously have Dinwiddie coming off the bench. What happens with that? I was really confident with that.
Do they still need a point guard like that, though? They could still use him, obviously. I think they can still. I mean, you could play Dinwiddie and Dragic together off the bench, but they still need a guy like that. Because Trey Burke's been okay in stepping in here recently.
Yeah, if he's willing to come here for free, take it. I mean, I would take him just for the leadership, friendship to Luka, all of that. And you can always use a guy like that coming off the bench. So, I mean, he's another scorer. I mean, we wanted the Mavs to go out and get scoring. And I feel like they did that today because at least we know. I mean, Bertans has missed games this season. Obviously, Dinwiddie's missed, I think, around 10 games this season. But let's do this, man. I'm excited. I'm obviously an optimistic person. I lean that way most of the time. But I'm not going to lie. I would be on here, too. If they just straight up dumped KP to OKC for a couple seconds and, whoever else, I wouldn't be as excited on this spot. I'm like, all right. However you feel about KP, you legit got worse in that case. You legit got worse this season. I'm not comfortable. I don't believe the statement of the Mavs got worse by trading Porzingis for Dinwiddie and Bertans. In the present. I don't believe that. And I do think there's a world that their ceiling is higher because they have another perimeter scorer in Spencer Dinwiddie.
Yeah, there was more times when the Mavs needed another guy to get a bucket than a guy, to do what Kristaps Porzingis was doing on offense. And they are going to miss him on defense, though. Not going to lie about that, right? That is to me where I think the Mavs did get worse is they don't have that rim protector to turn to. The Mavs desperately need somebody. And it looks like they didn't use their traded player exception we thought that they might use. That was a long shot for them to get a big in that scenario, but we'll see what happens to get somebody else. But this offseason, that's going to be a huge thing for the Mavs to try and get. Now they'll just cobble together this lineup of Dwight Powell and Maxey and Marquise Chris. Marquise Chris is getting a huge step up in minutes probably right now.
Winner of the day.
Kind of, because Moses Brown is gone too. He outlasted Moses Brown, and he now gets some of the Kristaps Porzingis minutes too. So this is also huge for the Mavs. The Mavs are also going to play small a lot now. They're going to play way more small now. Way more small? They're going to play way more small ball now.
Smaller.